I want to talk to you briefly about some of the key points of creating your images for your online course when you list it in Amazon. The first point to make is a very simple one, and that is the best format to upload is JPEG rather than PNG. PNG does work. I have had problems when I've listed PNGs and they've come back and they've said they've had trouble rendering them. So I would just stick to JPEGs. It's not going to make a lot of difference as long as you get the next bit right, and that is getting the image dimensions correct. Now, the minimum that Amazon recommend is 1000 high by 625 pixels wide. They would like you, because they've got some very HD equipment out there, the latest Kindle Fires and that sort of thing. They would like you actually to go as high as 2820 by 4500, and whatever you do, the key thing to remember is the ratio of the width to the height needs to be 1 to 1.6, and if you divide 1000 by 625 you get that ratio. So as long as you do something within that range, you're going to be absolutely fine. Just get the ratio right, because then the book proportions or the image proportions of your course will look correct. The next thing is you must bear in mind that a lot of people are going to look at these images as thumbnails. And because they're doing that, you want to make sure when you're designing your image that the title is readable when it's very, very small. And some of these thumbnails may be as small as 60 pixels across. So try looking at your images. Just go into some sort of editor and just resize them down to that and see if you can still see the title and make sure that it stands out clearly. When you're trying to choose the color or the overall color of your image, the first thing to do is to go and have a look and see what the competing titles are doing, and then try to come up with something that stands out, that is in contrast to your competitors. But don't forget, you can change your images very easily on Amazon. It takes about 24 hours for the process to go through. So if you're not happy, or you think you can do a better image, or your course isn't selling and you want to try a different image, then you can always change it. Another thing to bear in mind is a lot of people may look at these images on grayscale. Now, that's particularly true of some of the Kindle readers, and of course your courses won't play on Kindle readers, but you still want to catch people's eye, because they then may actually switch to their laptop or their iPad or something and actually go in and get your course through that. And you still want to be able to compete with book titles in search, and therefore you must still bear in mind that people may be looking at your images in grayscale, and you need to make sure that when they are looking at it in black and white, effectively grayscale, that your titles are still readable. So there's some key points just to bear in mind when you're creating your images. It's such an important aspect of your listing on Amazon. It's really important to spend a bit of time to get this right.